Jai Gurudev, dear students. Children, you know we have started already chapter number 12, reproduction in plants. And in this chapter, we have completed this first mode of reproduction, which is asexual reproduction. And under asexual reproduction, I have explained you each and every type. Okay. And even we have studied in the last class about the artificial vegetative reproduction also, like grafting, cutting, layering and tissue culture also. Okay, so today we will start our second type of reproduction, which is sexual reproduction. Okay, so in case of sexual reproduction, children, I have already explained you that in sexual reproduction there is involvement of two male and female gametes. Okay, gametes means cells, those kind of cells which fuse to form a new individual. Okay, so in sexual reproduction there is a fusion of male and female gametes for the production of new individual. So children, in this kind of reproduction there is a need of male and female reproductive part. So in case of plants, there are flowers. In some cases, plants produce different kind of flowers, means unisexual flowers, in which one flower is male flower and one flower is female flower. Okay, so here they have written that flowers are the reproductive organs of a plant. Children, because flower only contain a flower which contain both male and female reproductive part is called bisexual or complete flower. Means if any flower has both male and female parts present in it, then it is called bisexual, and if it is singly present, then it is called unisexual. Means if flower is male flower or female flower, then unisexual word we can use for flower, and this kind of flower is called incomplete flower. Okay, so most flowers have four main parts. Children, in previous classes or junior classes also, you must have studied this about the flower parts, because in the primary classes also you have studied, and in class 6 also you have studied about this. So these are not new things. So flower has four main parts: sepals, petals, stamens and pistil. So children, these all the parts I'll show you from this diagram. Children, you see this is a common flower parts. Means these all are the common flower parts. Any flower if you take which is bisexual, it has four parts, four main parts. So first part is sepal. You can see these green leaf like structures which is present as outermost layer of the flower, and these are green leaf like structures, they are called sepals. So after this green sepal part, there is a colorful and attractive part. You can see here three they have shown, because it is a flower which is longitudinally cut into two pieces. So this is a transverse section of a flower. So that's why these red color structures which are present, which are attractive and colorful, they are called petals. And petals are the attractive parts so that they can attract insects to visit on the flowers, and they have sweet smell also. It depends on different flowers like rose, jasmine, and different other many flowers also. Their petals are variously colored as well as producing a good fragrance. Okay, so this is the second part, petal. And third part is male part of the flower, which are here they have shown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 are there, and these are called stamens. Okay, means it is a stamen which is a male part of the flower, and stamen again has two parts. Upper part of stamen is called anther, as well as lower stalk like structure which is slightly green in color, this is called filament. And children, because it is a male part of the flower, so this anther part has pollen grains inside each anther, and when they mature they burst open and pollen grains come out of this structure. Okay, so when pollen grain they come out and they fall on the stigma. Stigma, here you can see this is the fourth and we can say female part of the flower, this which is present at the center and green in color. So this is called female part of the flower, and it is called pistil. As children, you have seen that male part is a stamen and it has again two parts. In the same way, pistil is a female part of the flower and it has three sub parts. Means pistil has three parts again. So upper and terminal part of pistil is called stigma, which receives pollen grains when they come from anther. Okay, they transfer from anther to stigma, which is called pollination. That process is called pollination. And children, this pollination can takes place by various ways. Pollen grains can be transferred with the help of wind or water, or with the help of insects also. So let's see the parts of pistil. Pistil has three parts. Upper part is called stigma, and this long neck like part it is called style, and basal swollen part is called ovary. Okay, and inside the ovary these small structures, you can see balloon like structures, these are called ovules, which are present inside the ovary. And children, I want to tell you here that when flower matures after pollination, when pollen grains fall on the stigma and they germinate, and after germination they release the male gametes through this style, and ultimately male gametes reach to these ovules. And that process, when that male gametes reach to the female gametes and fuse with female gamete, that process is called fertilization. Okay, so this fertilization process takes place inside the ovary, and after fertilization, after the fusion of male and female gametes, then this ovary part will develop into fruit, and inside the ovary these ovules will develop into seeds. You know, inside the fruit always seeds are present. So fruit develops from the ovary and seeds develop from these all the parts which are called ovules. Okay, so when seeds mature, then again we can use these seeds for the next generation. And in the natural conditions also, when after the maturation of fruits, when fruit ripen and after the ripening of fruit, seeds will develop, and seeds when fall on any surface, they can produce new plant. Okay, so children, in this way, in case of sexual reproduction, plants can produce new generation with the help of their flowers. That's why flowers are called reproductive parts of plant. So children, here they have shown with more detail. You can see here, this is a male part of the flower, filament, this one is filament, and this is anther, and this is female part of the flower, this is ovary, and inside it, see, ovules are there. Here they have written also, this is called style, and upper part is called stigma. They may be any shape. In different flowers, stigma shape is different. Okay, but almost other characteristic features are similar. So this is ovary wall, because every structure is bounded by a wall. So this is ovary wall. Okay, so after this, they have shown here through the diagrams about the pollination process. Children, pollination is also of two kinds. Here you can see pollination process. Pollination means it is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. Okay, so this is called pollination, and it is of two types. First is self-pollination and second is cross-pollination. So children, what is self-pollination? Self-pollination means when you can see here, this is a single flower and it is a bisexual flower, means here pollen grains develop from this anther or these anthers, and they simply transfer from its own anther to the stigma of same flower. So in this way, self-pollination takes place. This kind of pollination, when anthers of its own flower fall on the stigma of the same flower, then it is called self-pollination. But when anthers of one flower will transfer on the stigma of another flower of same variety, okay, means rose will variety of rose will pollinate to the same flower, and variety of hibiscus plant will pollinate the same flower. So means in cross pollination, suppose this bee, cross pollination generally takes place with the help of bees, because bees when sit on any flower, then with their wings and their mouth parts as well as their legs. These pollen grains can stick easily and they will transfer from one flower to another flower, means stigma of another flower. So this type of pollination is called cross pollination. Here bees are transferring pollen grains of the stigma of anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. So children, after this they have given about the different agencies, means how the pollen grains transfer other living beings, means pollen grains can transfer by birds, insects and other animals. Okay, and if we talk about wind is also one of the main source or agent which can transfer the pollen grain from one flower to another flower, means wind also help in self as well as cross pollination. And water, when rain falls, upper flower of any plant can transfer their pollen grains with the help of rainwater to the lower flowers. Okay, so water is also very important, and in case of water plants, water is only the source of transferring the pollen grains from one flower to another flower. So here they have given example pollination in aquatic plants such as seagrass and Vallisneria is usually carried out by water. Okay, so children, after this, when pollination takes place, I have told you that male gametes fuse with the female gametes, and that process is called fertilization. And after fertilization, when both the male and female gametes fuse with each other, cells fuse with each other, then the first cell formed after fertilization is a zygote. Okay, this is the first cell which is formed after fertilization. So zygote formed after fertilization, and from this zygote, when it divides by various divisions, then it will able to produce an embryo. Okay, and from embryo or other part of the embryo which is around the embryo, that is also help to produce fruits. And I have already told you children that the ovary enlarges to form fruit, and wall of the ovary becomes the fruit wall. The ovules becomes the seeds, means ovary develops into fruit and ovules develops into seeds. So when this process takes place, means seed formation and fruit formation completed, at that time petals, sepals and other parts of the flower dry up and fall off, because now there is no role of these parts. Actually, these parts provide protection to the reproductive parts, pistil and stamen. And when there is a formation of seed and fruit formation completed, at that time petals, sepals and other parts, they dry up and fall off. So what is a fruit? Children, when fruit develops, then fruit is a soft fleshy part containing seeds. Okay, and the fruit itself is ripened ovary. We can call it as a ripened ovary because this part develops into fruit. So this is a ovary part, and when ovary part ripen, then we can say it is a fruit. So it is also called ripened ovary. And seed is the ripened ovule because seeds are produced from ovules which are present inside it, and they are ripened ovules which contains an embryo. Means embryo is that part of seed which is also, we can say, as a baby plant, because when seeds we sow anywhere in the ground, in the soil, then this embryo part develops into different shoot and root. Okay, because root and shoot develops from this part of embryo. So children, this is about the seed and fruit formation. And when embryo, I told you that when embryo germinates, when we sow the seed and seed coat burst open, and embryo consists of radicle and a plumule. Radicle develops into roots and plumule develops into shoot. Okay, and one or two cotyledons. You know, children, when any seed grows or germinate, it can show its cotyledons also, means leaf-like structures which are present after the germination of seed, which stick with the seed, that maybe two or one, they are called cotyledons. Okay, and now how seed disperse from one place to another, because if many seeds can fall on a same surface, then they can cause hindrance. Hindrance means they can cause crowd. If many plants grow at one place, then no plant will get proper nutrition, sunlight as well as water. So it is necessary to disperse from the production place. So what are the agents of seed dispersal? As we have studied about the pollination, in pollination also many insects and birds, they help to pollinate, means transfer the pollen grains from stigma, from anther to stigma. In the same way, seeds also can disperse in different ways. So what are the different ways? You can see seed dispersal is a spread or transport of seeds away from the parent plant. So what are the different agencies or agents through which seeds are dispersed? First is wind. You know, children, some seeds are very light in weight and they have fibrous material with them. They can easily fly from one place to another places. And some of the seeds have wing-like structures. You can see here, this is a very common plant, and their seeds can easily transfer from its parent plant to the other places, means easily to the long distances with the help of wind. So examples are cotton, dandelion, drumsticks, maple and poppy. These seeds can be dispersed by wind. Second is water. You know that water fruits or those fruits which are growing near the water, they can easily transfer or we can say disperse through water, through flowing water. So we can take example of coconut and lotus. You know, these both are the best examples, and their seeds can easily disperse with the help of water, because their seeds can float on the surface of water, and that's why they can move along with the water currents, and where they get favorable conditions, they can germinate easily and grow into a new plant. So next agents are animals. When birds eat fruits, seeds stick to their beaks and are rubbed off somewhere else. Birds like parrots also disperse seeds to other areas by dropping. So whenever these seeds fall, they can grow into new plants. Means with the help of animals also, many seeds can be dispersed. Either they are dropping somewhere, or some seeds are also like that, in which hooks are present. You can see xanthium seeds. This you must have seen somewhere. This is a wild kind of plant, and their seeds, when they mature, they turn into brown in color, and they have hook like structures. And if you also, human beings also pass near this plant, they will easily stick with our clothes, and if you remove, they can't be removed easily. Okay, so these kind of seeds are transferred with the help of animals as well as human beings. And next category of means agents of explosion of fruit. This is the last method of dispersal of seeds, that is explosion of fruit. Some fruits, generally beans like fruits, they explode, means when they mature, they burst open with the explosion, and with the help of explosion they can spread here and there near the parent plant. Okay, so in case of pea plant also you can see, and other than pea, those plants which have pod like fruits like peas, in that cases the explosion of fruit is a mode of transfer of seeds from one place to another. So children, now in this way fruits means seeds disperse also, they reach now from one place to another, and now there is a time for germination of seeds. You know, I have already told you that embryo is a part which is present inside the seed, and this embryo when grows and the seed when germinates, from this embryo two parts comes out. A radical part, which is you can see here, suppose this is a growing seed, means germinating seed, and from this germinating seed this part is called plumule. Okay, this part is called plumule, and from here roots are originated from this part. This is called radicle. Okay, so means these parts comes out from the embryo part of the seed. So when this process takes place, then we can say seed now germinates. So after germination, new plant can be developed. Okay, so children, with this our this chapter is completed. Means in this chapter we have studied about reproduction patterns, different types of reproduction. In case of asexual reproduction also we have studied so many types, and in case of sexual reproduction today I have explained you then how a plant produces a flower, and a flower develops into fruit, and seed develops inside the fruit. And when seeds mature, they disperse from one place to another, and when they get suitable conditions, means suitable conditions or favorable conditions. What are the favorable conditions? Moisture, temperature, air to germinate. They means when seeds get these all the conditions, then they start germination, and after germination root and shoot will develop. So this is about our chapter number 12, reproduction in plants. So children, I'll send you notes of this chapter, and exercise part you try to fill your own, because all the parts all the topics we have discussed in this chapter in detail, so you try to find out answers of these exercises. If you don't get, I'll send you in the form of PDF. Okay, along with the notes I'll send you exercise part also. So children, for this chapter is completed. So Jai Gurudev.